everyone. My name is Brian Allman, and I'm a master's degree recipient from Sands Technology Institute. In going through the master's program, we do research, and my research was selected to be added to this year's Research Review Journal. My research is about finding lateral movement of adversaries through the noise of systems administration. What that basically means is finding the true bad guy amongst systems administrator day-to-day operations. Systems administrators have to move laterally for their day-to-day job. They have to use tools like RDP and WMI and PowerShell remoting, and in some cases PSExec for different day-to-day operations things. If the bad guy does the same actions, can we detect them? Well, the answer is yes, but it's not great out of the box. So my research, the point of it was to accurately find adversaries moving laterally and to increase security tool accuracy and protection. Because in doing this research, I found that the security tools in general were very, very bad at detecting lateral movement at all. So ensuring that they detect lateral movement and do it accurately is an extremely beneficial thing for your security operations center. Your day-to-day SOC operations analysts deal with false positives all the time, and it is causing bad behavior and causes the organization to look at the SOC as a cost center in a lot of cases, not providing value. Now, it's a bit unfair to make that assumption because much of the security tooling is inaccurate. So ensuring that the security tooling is accurate and can detect these things, especially lateral movement, which is used by ransomware actors, is extremely important. And then you can detect real breaches. We also want to make sure that your SOC has accurate information. If they have accurate information, they can stop the breach ahead of time. My research methodology involved 3 testing groups. I had a group that represented systems administrators. This was just doing regular RDP, regular WMI, regular PowerShell remoting, and regular PSExec. An adversary group that was Sharp RDP, Sharp Move WMI, Cobalt Strike Jump with WinRM and PSExec. And then an administrative account takeover. So what happens if one of the administrator's account is taken over, say remotely? Can we detect that? So I did RDP tunneling with Plink. I did WMI process call create across a channel, and then I did PowerShell remoting and PSExec as an administrative account that had been taken over. Is there a way we can detect that? The tooling that I had in my lab for this testing, I had a SIM, I had Elastic Stack, I had EDR, I had Elastic Defend, and I had Suricata. So 2 Elastic products and Suricata. Now, I had the default rules on for every single rule in the SIM, every single rule in the EDR, they were all on. So when I did my first test with RDP, commonly used by ransomware groups, I got no true positive detection on anything. That's mind-blowing, right? So you basically can't detect one of the most common adversary lateral movement techniques without either building your own rule or changing rules that are there to make them work. I got just no true positive detection. And as you can see here on the slide, this is Sharp Move Sharp RDP, and I was able to connect to the domain controller. No alerting. None. That's a little scary. For WMI, I immediately got a false positive. False positives are bad. They cost money. They cause your SOC analyst pain. So if I'm immediately getting a false positive, that means it needs to be tuned. After some tuning, which I show you how to do in the research paper, we were able to get true positive detection for the adversary and true positive detection for account takeover. That's great. It's exactly what we want to do, but we have to eliminate a false positive to do so. So that's work, right? For PowerShell lateral movement testing, basically the same thing we saw before. 2 false positives immediately, one of them just using invoke command. If you use invoke command at all, that EDR was firing. That's crazy. That's a known method to run commands remotely. So you have to tune that. After I tuned this, I still didn't get any detection for jump WinRM, and I didn't get any detection on account takeover. So In the paper, I give you some methods to improve detection for WMI in general, because this is an area that is overlooked. It's not well detected, but adversaries use this for lateral movement. And then finally, PsExec, one of the most common methods used back since the days of Windows 2000 for lateral movement. You would think that this would just be hands down, we detect this every time. Well, the first thing I got was 2 false positives. The very first thing. So you have to tune that. Then after tuning, I was able to get true positive detection for Cobalt Strike Jump using PsExec, and I was able to get a true positive detection for account takeover testing. So that's promising. So 2 of the 4 methods we were able to get true positives on pretty easily. The other 2 you would have to build your rules for. So in summary, given the number of false positives and missed detections, lateral movement is an area that needs work. It needs work in your organization right now. I will bet that you don't have good detection around lateral movement in your environment. If you haven't looked at this, you probably need to give it a look, right? Security architecture changes may be needed to make this better. If your administrators always come from the same networks or same space, that can help this, right? You can ensure that you know what a good remote session looks like. That way you can detect bad, right? Know normal to detect abnormal. And then finally, given how inaccurate this was, further research should be done here. Take a look at my research. Feel free to extend it. Feel free to use it in your environment just to make our lives easier. As people who work in MDR or a SOC, I know I currently work with an MDR. It is very, very challenging to get this right. And if you can eliminate a lot of breaches and catch them at the lateral movement stage before they ever get to their target. Please check out my research. It's in the SANS reading room right now. And thank you very much.